Based on the Toyota 86 Sports Saloon, these cars run race-spec shocks, big brakes, Motec dash and Michelin race legs, along with the normal safety equipment.
It's great having a class where every car is exactly the same.
One of the things about this particular class is that there's no room for error. The minute you make a mistake in this car, you're gone, you've lost it. To me, that's real racing, and it's not about checkbooks, it's about the ability. And some of the young guys in this class, it's fantastic. I love the fact that this class has been developed for Toyota to bring young New Zealand drivers through into the next best thing.
Hi everyone, welcome to Season 4 of the Toyota 86 Championship. I'm Sam McNeil, and this weekend we're at the Mike Pirro Motorsport Park in Christchurch. Round 2 at Taupo produced 2 race wins for Matt Lockwood and 1 for John Penny, but Ryan Yardley was most consistent. 3 second places gave him the round win.
Ryan Yardley then with a 31-point lead ahead of Reid Harker. Then it's Matt Lockwood third, Michael Scott, Jack Milligan, the local man, who shows us around the circuit.
Hi, I'm Jack Milligan. This weekend we're at my home track, Mike Pirro Motorsport Park, Ruapuna. I've been around this track since I was 15 years old. At this track, there are a couple of great passing opportunities. Turn 1 is a great opportunity to pass if you get a good run out of the last corner. The best line is to pass up the inside and push the car as far as you can to the right-hand side on exit. This will give you a good run to pothole corner and have you in front. Another great passing opportunity here is to get a good run out of the carousel and bang it up there into turn 9. Passing into the last corner, there are 2 different lines you can take. If you're on the inside, you won't get as good a run as the person on the outside, as they can use most of the track. And of course, all I want to do is be in front, then I don't have to worry about passing anyone.
2 back-to-back qualifying sessions held on Saturday morning, and it was Connor Adam who held off Ryan Yardley, the championship leader, by 2/10 to take third on the grid. And just in front of him, Michael Scott gets a front row start, but pole position goes to Reid Harker with a 1:35.479, repeating his performance at Taupo. In qualifying 2, Connor Adam improved on his time to get a front row start, but it was Reid Harker once again with the pole, a 1:35.6.
Yeah, perfect start. The car felt really good. The team's been working hard this weekend, and I'm just hoping to transfer that 2 poles into the races this afternoon and tomorrow.
What do you feel about the track and the conditions in terms of the competition this weekend?
The tracks, I really like this track. It's really fast and flowing, and you really have to be consistent and hit your marks to put a lap together because there's so many corners. Yeah, the competition's looking as stronger than it ever has. Yesterday's practice, I think the top 6 were within 900, so it's a credit to the other drivers, and yeah, I'm just looking forward to getting out there.
Well, this weekend's all different because now we're running with International Motorsport, so they've come on board. Hopefully there's that professionalism and a teammate with Connor that hopefully together we can sort of say towards the front end of the field.
Do you like the Christchurch track?
Yeah, I've done a lot of laps here in Christchurch, so it certainly is a track I guess I'm used to, so yeah, I do enjoy it.
Back to winning this weekend?
Oh, I bloody hope so.
Are you surprised at how quick you've got up to speed? Because that's a good performance, and I think it surprised a few of your competitors.
Yeah, I didn't really expect it coming to the track. I'd never been here before. I hadn't even walked in the gate, so everyone's pretty surprised, I think, and just really happy with the result. I've never seen the track.
You set the bar now, so what about the weekend? How do you feel? Can you get on the podium?
I think we just got to take it as it comes. I'd like to be on the podium. We just got to see how the race turns out for us, I think.
Reid Harker is currently second in the point standings. He's found new pace this season, something he puts down to a rigorous training schedule.
Well, I've been training with Alistair Wooden for 2 years at Formula Fit in Silverdale. It's a great way to train when you're not in the car, to get fit, race fit. He's obviously a past racer himself, so he knows a lot about the training exercises that benefit you in the car. So yeah, I've been doing that most days in the week, so it's really great to prepare me for when I get in the car and I'm nice and fresh afterwards. We don't need to be bodybuilders, we just need the strength to be able to push the pedals and not have to mentally think about it when you're in the car. The best advice I've been given is to keep your head on your shoulders, in and out of the car, just stay relaxed, and that just allows you to not be too caught up and mentally overwhelmed in and out of the car. So it's very important that you just that you relax and go about it your own way and not have to overthink things. I think I've learnt a lot over the past 2 years about driving on the slick tyre, which is very important for when I progress further in my motorsport career. Previous to this, I was racing on dot tyres, so I think that's the biggest change from that car to this car is the slick tyre and knowing how to turn it on in qualifying and save it throughout the races so that you have the tyre at the end of the weekend. It's going to be a really close battle with Ryan and the other drivers, Matt and John, so I'm really looking forward to the challenge.
Coming up, all the action from round 3, race 1 from Christchurch, after this.
We have 3 races this weekend. Race 1's over 8 laps and it's going to be hot. Let's go to Jonathan Green for all the action.
The grid for race 1 sees Reid Harker in pole position. Alongside him, Michael Scott. Then it's Connor Adam and Ryan Yardley, the championship leader, 3rd and 4th. Further down, Jacob Smith is alongside Miles Cockram. And then John Penny, winner in Taupo, has Jack Milligan alongside him in the local Care Vets entry. Then Brodie McConkey, then Mike Lightfoot, Andy Knight, a former Grand Prix winner, coming in as a guest driver. And he is alongside Matt Lockwood for placemakers. Jaden Ransley and Tom Stokes round out this Toyota 86 field. 8 laps ahead then. Slightly blustery conditions here in Christchurch, but away we go, and a good start from the pole on the right-hand side by Reid Harker. Michael Scott's got away well too. He comes to the inside to try and challenge, but slots into 2nd place, and we'll try to see if we can slingshot around the leader, Reid Harker, who leads this whole field. 8 laps in all. Perfect conditions as we go on board with Jack Milligan. Milligan being helped by Chris Vanderdrift at the moment to hone those skills. Perfect guy to help him out. High hopes for Milligan this year. But look at the traffic he's got to deal with this opening lap. He's trying to avoid it. Does so, makes up a place by the looks of things. Everybody cleanly through then at the start of this one. Reid Harker leads the way. Harker 2nd in the championship, 31 points behind Ryan Yardley at the moment. And Yardley in the thick of it, but started 4th as we go on board with Matt Lockwood, who's had all sorts of problems. The placemaker's man is actually in the Lighting Plus car because he crashed his car heavily in practice and they couldn't get it fixed in time. And now he's all over the back of the number 17 of Jack Milligan. Lockwood, of course, a 2-time winner last time out at Taupo. Lucky just to be out there right now, I'm sure. And trying desperately to get some points in the bag. He's 3rd in the championship at the moment. Tom Stokes slightly out of shape through 9, but gathers it all together and carries on. So no major incidents yet as Reid Harker tries to pull away at the front as they go through the last complex. And still Lockwood all over the back of Jack Milligan as they come onto the straight. And Lockwood's got a chance here to get a slipstream and get ahead of the youngster. They cross the line now, and here comes Lockwood. Milligan still on the best line to defend, though. And he's not giving him any room on the inside, so Lockwood looks to the outside, but as you can see, he's just not close enough. They both break into turn 1, which is a very tight apex. It kind of comes back on itself and then opens up towards the next very fast corner, which is Pothole, coming up now on board with Connor Adam as he chases down the youngster Jacob Smith, who bounces over the curbs twice there, loses a bit of ground, and allows the number 9 to catch up the inside of the hairpin. And try as he might, Matt Lockwood just can't get past the number 17, Jack Milligan. This battle continues. Connor Adam in the number 9, holding off the number 27 of Jacob Smith. And look how close they are. Smith really putting some pressure on. And given they've all got identical cars, that's the idea in this 86 series, is to try to make your opponent make a mistake. He's not forced one yet. And the BGW-sponsored man, Connor Adam, has been very impressive this weekend for sure. Never seen the place until he got here on Thursday. He's equipping himself well. Very hard to drive under this sort of pressure. out of the last corner they come. Still very tight, especially in the midfield. They cross the line again. No change in the order, but the front runners are pulling away from this group. Back with Matt Lockwood now, as he now goes in pursuit of Mike Lightfoot in front of him. Been an eventful weekend so far for Lockwood. Tries to get alongside the number 96, but can't do it. Through Pothole, the very fast Pothole. Down towards one of the most obvious overtaking places, as we heard from Jack Milligan. The hairpin here, just slinging up the inside and hopefully hold on. And you really could throw a blanket over the leaders. It's Ryan Yardley in third place for the CareVets team, chasing down Michael Scott as we go on board with the young 18-year-old. Pretty impressive rise so far in the first few rounds for Ryan Yardley. He's the Rookie of the Year last year. Races for CareVets very proudly. Now he's putting big pressure on Michael Scott, who of course has changed teams this weekend to International Motorsport. Seems far happier and settled, but he won't be happy about this move. Oh, a moment there, Ryan Yardley thought about it. Meanwhile, Connor Adam in the number 9, still holding off Jacob Smith in the number 27. They are glued together as they come across the line, the leaders. Reid Harker's giving himself a little bit of a gap to Michael Scott. And Scott has got a pair of mirrors full of the CareVets car at the moment. But where can Ryan Yardley pass? There's not that many places to pass on this tight and technical circuit here at Christchurch. Reid Harker out of shape for a moment, but holding it all together. The Northland Toyota man waiting to pounce, and if he does, Ryan Yardley will go with him. Back on board with Yardley. The double-edged sword with a man with 31 points in front. He doesn't want to lose too many points to Reid Harker, but he doesn't want to mess it up by getting into a fight that he can't win necessarily with Michael Scott. Talking of fights, here we go. Number 17. That's Jack Milligan, still fighting with Mike Lightfoot in the number 96. And Matt Lockwood joins in as round goes Lightfoot and out, and somehow Lockwood avoids him. But looks as though Milligan pushed him round. He goes up the inside and just taps the rear, and that's how easy it is to spin round. And that's the first major incident of this race. Lightfoot out of contention. The leaders then still glued together. Reid Harker trying desperately to improve on his position in the championship. He's second at the moment. And if Ryan Yardley stays where he is, this is a good opportunity. As out goes Connor Adam, the number 9, onto the grass, and looked as though he might have outbraked himself. But out goes the youngster for International Motorsport, and Reid Harker has managed to eke out a little bit of space between himself and this battle for second and third. There you see the gap. It's not much, but it's enough to perhaps give him a little bit of respite as we come to the final stages of this race. But you can see how hard he's pushing, just onto the dust and dirt there for a moment. And the question is, can Ryan Yardley make a move on Michael Scott? He hasn't really got close enough in the last few laps to actually make the move. He's close, but just not quite close enough to make the move. The best hope is to get tucked in at the end of the straight, like now, and maybe look to the inside if Michael Scott doesn't put a defensive move on him. They cross the line again then. Still not close enough, I'm afraid. Yardley will have to wait. Crossing the line now. First shot of the Neil Allport man, that's John Penny, as he battles with the number 53 of Jaden Ransley. Ransley on the inside, or on the right-hand side of your shot there, has the better line. Penny will have to go wide, and he does. Penny now cuts back into the inside. He's not going to get past Ransley unless he goes too wide, but the 53 holds on for now, out of the first turn and down towards Pothole. Penny makes the move decisively, brilliantly at Pothole. And that was experienced there by John Penny, the former V8 man. As finally it looks as though Ryan Yardley's about to make a move. Time running out, and he's getting very close to Michael Scott, who's doing a really good job of defending his position in second. As we come now to the closing stages, it looks as though Reid Harker, and you can see how hard he's pushing there just on the dirt for a moment, has got this one in the bag, because I think Michael Scott's got enough on his hands trying to deal with Ryan Yardley. And if Reid Harker can stay where he is now, he should bring this home for what will be another great victory for him. Meanwhile, Ryan Yardley's still looking for that opportunity. He's got closer this time as they come onto the main straight, but is he close enough to make the move? If he's going to do it, he has to do it now, because we're about to start the final lap. They cross the line now, and this is the final lap, and there's the gap. And Reid Harker's done a really good job in the last 2 laps of pulling away from this chasing second and third battle. And of course, Reid Harker taking victory would also increase his gap to Matt Lockwood in 3rd position, with Lockwood further down the field. So this is turning out to be a really strong performance by Reid Harker, who took pole position and did it in style, and he really is still pushing hard. And Michael Scott's doing a very good job of holding off Ryan Yardley, and I think Yardley even will settle for 3rd in this one. No need for heroics at this stage. The Carevets boy racing at home, a lot of friends and family, and of course the sponsors here. This Christchurch event is all about points for Ryan Yardley and increasing that lead, and he can see the man who's chasing him, and this won't be a bad result though. But I think he's now settled for 3rd place. Coming towards the line now, Reid Harker, man who was 7th in the overall championship this time last year, but challenging for more this year for sure. And this has been a good performance here in the opening race at Christchurch. Just one more corner to go for the Albany-based Reid Harker. Comes out of the last corner, and he's done it. Reid Harker will take victory in the first race, and it looks as though Ryan Yardley's not going to make it past. He might have one more attempt at Michael Scott. There's the checkered flag. Harker takes the win, and Michael Scott's just going to hold on to take 2nd place ahead of Ryan Yardley. Great racing throughout race 1. And everybody cleanly coming across the line, but still more battles. Matt Lockwood trying to take Tom Stokes' 8th place away, but can't do it as they cross the line. And Reid Harker has got some very, very important points for his championship with that victory ahead of Michael Scott, Ryan Yardley, Jacob Smith 4th place, Brodie McConkey in 5th, Miles Cockram 6th.
A lot of pressure. You were under pressure the whole race, but no mistakes.
Yeah, I just focused on consistent laps, trying to put in consistent laps. Got a little wheel spin off the line, but it was enough to hold first into the first corner, and from there I just tried to put in consistent laps and hold the lead, and real happy with the win.
Well, Michael, good result. Just what you wanted, a podium in the first race.
Yeah, that's the way we wanted to start this weekend. P2's good. Hopefully the reverse grid's kind to us, but no, it's a fantastic race.
Any problems at all in terms of setup and in terms of the race?
Nah, see, we changed the setup slightly from qualifying, and it seemed to have done us a favour, so we're pretty stoked with that. So yeah.
I think I had a little bit more pace than Michael, just not in the right places. So the car's a lot better than what it was in qualifying. I was pretty worried after qualifying that I wouldn't have a decent race car, but all the team did an awesome job to turn the car around, and I've now got a good race car, so I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
Coming up, it's a partial reverse grid for the start of race 2 from Ruapuna.
After a brilliant weekend at Taupo, TR86 newcomer Matt Lockwood hasn't quite had the start that he would have hoped for.
Went out in P1 and was going pretty well on some old rubber and just pushing a little bit too hard on the last lap. Went out a pothole, sort of dropped a wheel on the grass, went out to the outside grass and was sort of sliding along, and then flipped it round, went across track, and probably pretty slim chances, but we just went head on to a little control marshal booth, and ruined our car for the weekend. Thankfully, very grateful to be in the Lighting Plus car. Thanks to Andy Knight as well, he was a massive help, and we're both on track, which is great. So we put our setup in it yesterday for qualifying. We missed the second practice on Friday. And I mean, the cars are all the same, but this car reacted quite differently to our setup. So sort of starting from scratch again. We had an okay race yesterday, but we've got a couple of good starting positions for today. So, yeah, we're just here to collect points this weekend and see how we go. This weekend, you know, hasn't gone that great for us, but hopefully we can sort of recover a bit. And we know we're going to be at Invercargill, but we don't know what car we're going to be in yet. So, yeah, we just keep trucking along and get some points and see how we go. Still got 4 rounds to go, so see what happens, yeah.
Up next, race 2, with the top 10 finishes from race 1 reversed on the grid. Can Matt Lockwood capitalise from a front row start? Let's go to Jonathan Green to see the action.
Here's the grid then for race 2. Connor Adam in pole and Matt Lockwood alongside him. An opportunity for him to turn things round. Tom Stokes and Andy Knight line up on the second row. Then it's Miles Cockram and Brodie McConkey, Jacob Smith for Tony Richards Toyota and Ryan Yardley for the Carevets team. Further down, Michael Scott and Reid Harker. That's the reverse from race 1. John Penny and Jaden Ransley are on the next row. And then finally, Jack Milligan at the back. Alongside him, the man who spun out, Mike Lightfoot. Very windy conditions for the start of race 2. Matt Lockwood on the left-hand side of your screen gets a good start. Not a good start from Connor Adam, and immediately Lockwood is in the lead. Great start from Lockwood, and here comes Stokes as well. Tom Stokes has got in front of Connor Adam, and Adam has definitely missed that start from the pole position and lost out several places, and now not wide even further. So he is in a real mess and knocked off track for a second there, Connor Adam. So welcome aboard, Connor. Not the pole position start he wanted at all. And he's down in, what, 5th, maybe 6th place now, as away goes Matt Lockwood in the Lighting Plus car. The placemaker's man delighted to have had a chance to even race here, as Reid Harker going wide, and that knocks him to the back of the field. So the man who's second overall in the championship is right at the back of this grid. So a lot of work to do as we go on board with Jack Milligan. Milligan also racing in the RX-7 championships, as well as doing Toyota 86s, so getting plenty of experience is Jack. From Christchurch, of course. This is his home race. Really wanting to impress here for sure. John Penny just behind Milligan. Ooh, very wide and high goes Miles Cockram, out of shape for a moment, gathers it all together, and he's still fighting it, but he's got it back together. Big moment there through 9. And that puts him down. And Reid Harker has made his move and got past Lightfoot and Cockram. Onto the main straight they come. This is a glimpse at the back of the field again. Lightfoot has now drifted to the back. Dust still flying up, so they're still pushing hard here. Everybody jostling for position in this reverse grid. And that always does throw up some interesting racing when you have that reverse grid, because the faster men trying to get through early on and pushing hard as we go on board with Jacob Smith. The tall, lanky figure of Jacob Smith. He's 6'2". He was telling me earlier in the weekend, the 17-year-old, that he wants to go into GT racing, and I think that's probably the best option, because that's probably the only cars he'll fit into, these tin tops and GTs. He's still growing, is Jacob. He's only 17. Big future ahead of him, as has Tom Stokes, who's under pressure now from Andy Knight. Andy Knight, the guest driver here this weekend, using all his experience, and he's all over the back of Stokes. Taps at the back of him, and he spins him round. In touch again, and out goes Stokes. Well, he won't be happy with that. Rather aggressive by Andy Knight, and Stokes is out. Another look at the replay, and I think he taps the back twice. He does, yes. He tries to stay in there, and then just taps the back for the second time, and that's all it took. Here we are with Andy Knight. And Andy, I think, just getting frustrated that he couldn't get past. He finally muscles his way through. Now watching the progress of Reid Harker. He's behind Penny, who is side by side with Jack Milligan now. So Reid Harker trying to go through on Milligan as well as John Penny, and it's tight, that's for sure. No way through this time. Finally, Penny gets past him, does he, at the hairpin? I think so. So Milligan loses out a spot. Will Reid Harker get through? He's lining himself up for sure, but that was a good overtake by John Penny. Now, from Penny to the youngest of the competitors, Jaden Ransley, who attends the St Thomas Canterbury College here in Christchurch. So this too is home race. Making his way in motor racing. Also sponsored by Harcourts and Lighting Plus. And he too looking for a big future from this 86 series. Matt Lockwood out front and enjoying his time in the limelight. Didn't think he'd be out there this weekend, but he is, and he's leading by a country mile at the moment. They come on to the main straight again. The question is, can anybody stop Lockwood after this run at the front? Yardley trying to make as many places up as possible and therefore keep his championship lead. He's had his work cut out this weekend, Yardley. An impressive third place in race 1. But now trying to get on level terms with the number 23 of Brodie McConkey in the Castrol car. And McConkey leading a big group of 4-5 cars. And at the back of that is Jacob Smith and Michael Scott. There's your leader, Lockwood. There's second place, Andy Knight. There's McConkey. And he's trying desperately to hold off Ryan Yardley in the number 18, who himself is under big pressure from the number 9 of Connor Adam. Then it's Jacob Smith and Michael Scott. On board now with Connor Adam. Well, to say he's never been here, Adam having a great weekend here in Christchurch. The Aucklander really experiencing racing for the first time in a fully fledged racing car, having come, like so many others, from karting. Now we're getting down to the business end of this race. Can Ryan Yardley make up a few spots? If he does, there'll be several other drivers all wanting to do the same, and they're in a good position. This long straight, getting good drive out of the last corner. That's the key here at Christchurch, to try and make the dive, as Jacob Smith is looking to do up the inside at turn 1. Look at them, 3 abreast here, going into turn 1. And somehow they make it all through. And Smith is the winner of that little battle. And out wide goes Michael Scott, losing out. And a couple of positions as we go on board with Jack Milligan, who is behind Scott at this point. He loses out to Reid Harker. Harker doing a very good job of making his way. If you remember, he was right at the back when he made a mistake here at this hairpin earlier in the race and had to claw his way back. Lockwood, though, marching on towards victory. And this turning out to be a very good battle between McConkey and Ryan Yardley. Yardley eyeing up a chance to pass the number 23 Castrol Toyota. But the Cairvets man has only really 2 or 3 definite places to overtake unless the man in front of you makes a mistake. And as we've said earlier, part of the tactics here in 86 is try to force your opponent into a mistake by hounding him on every corner and make him look in the mirrors, just as McConkey is doing now. Coming down towards that last corner. Dust flying up. You can see how much of the road they're using and how hard they're pushing. Yardley comes to the inside. This is one of those overtake opportunities, and he's made it stick, has he? Yes, he has. Nicely done by Ryan Yardley. They come side by side. McConkey comes back at him. They come down in a drag race towards the line, and McConkey has got the better drive and holds on. But Willie for the corner. We go on board with Smith. He's watching it. He's got a grandstand view of this. And Cairvets man, Ryan Yardley, does go through at turn 1. And that was brave, because he had to keep his foot in there, because McConkey came back at him on the straight. And that was great racing. And Yardley finally through and up a place. Now, can he do anything in the closing stages to get more points, I wonder? And now they're lining up behind McConkey to try and overtake, and everybody flying out as Reid Harker joins this battle. And he's got Michael Scott in his sights now, the Northland Toyota man. As we go on back on board with Brodie for the Albany Toyota team. And he's not done with Yardley yet, is he? Number 23. Now he's got Jacob Smith all over the back of him. Smith senses an opportunity too here. He too is under pressure from Connor Adam in the number 9. This is fantastic racing here, and they really have honed down their racecraft here in round 3. We're starting to see the best of the racing as we go on board with Jack Milligan, who gets spun round, does he? Oh, he's out of control for a moment. And that was Jaden Ransley, who was behind him a moment ago, and that does go through. But luckily, both of them survive. And now here comes Reid Harker on Michael Scott. Harker trying to make up another place here as they come out of the last corner. Onto the main straight. Lightfoot's ahead of them, so's Ransley. Milligan to try and make up another place, this time on Mike Lightfoot. Down the main straight with Milligan. He's got the better line on the inside, and he does take Mike Lightfoot into turn 1. Nicely done. Back with McConkey. Still battling with the number 27, Jacob Smith. Meanwhile, Matt Lockwood heading for victory here. And a surprise victory in many ways. The Lighting Plus man, for this weekend anyway, gifted a car to try and see if he could race after he crashed his heavily. Meanwhile, Michael Scott's losing out of place in the closing stages to Reid Harker. Harker has got through. Can he come back, Michael Scott? This has not been a good performance for Michael Scott. He's not looked as aggressive here in race 2. Final lap then, John Penny. Now in a fight with Reid Harker, who wants more, can sense the opportunity to take more points. Matt Lockwood, 3rd in the championship at the beginning of the weekend. Heads through turn 9 for the last time, and he's got a clear lead now, massive lead over the rest of the field. No one in sight even. And now just the last corner to go. And there's the chasing pack, led by Ryan Yardley, who's going to take some very good points out of this one too. But it is the number 7 of Matt Lockwood, a winner last time out in Taupo, and now a winner here in Christchurch in round 3. He comes towards the line, and there's the checkered flag. A win then for Lockwood, and in second place, the checkered flag out for Ryan Yardley, holding off McConkey, who takes 3rd place. Another very close finish in race 2. Well done to Ryan Yardley, and well done to Auckland's Matt Lockwood, who takes another victory in the 86. Lockwood then with the win, Ryan Yardley 2nd, Brodie McConkey in 3rd, then Jacob Smith, Connor Adam, and John Penny rounding out the top 6.
Well, Matt, talk about 0 to hero. What a great day.
Yeah, thanks very much. Yeah, we had great luck in the reverse grid. Started P2, got a good start, and yeah, sort of won it from there, so really happy.
How was it to gauge those behind you? Because it was really quite a pile-up behind you because they were all fighting, but you were out on your own.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I knew Andy would be quick. He was right behind me, and I think he got past Michael Stokes eventually, but by then we sort of had a decent gap, but I think he would have been good competition if he got by straight away maybe, yeah.
Well, Ryan, great busy race. Tell me about it.
Yeah, it was pretty hectic at the start. Those first few laps where there was cars going everywhere and stuff like that, so I'm glad I got through without any major contact, and I could pick my way through to 2nd, which I'm happy with, starting from 8th, so now I'm pleased with that.
I was going to say, it's a good result. These are the ones where, in terms of the championship, when you start that far back, you're not really expecting too many points, but those were important ones because Reid was further down.
Yeah, for sure. You know, marble draw mixes it up for the 2nd race, so yeah, to move forward from 8th to 2nd is much better than what I expected, and yeah, it was good points, especially I think Reid and Michael finished a bit further back, so it's good for the championship, and at this stage it's all about getting those points.
Well, Brodie, I know you worked hard for that because there was a big pile behind you of people all wanting to get on the podium, but you did it.
Yeah, I was under a lot of pressure for sure. I mean, battling with Ryan because he's one of the front runners in the series, so it was really hard to keep him behind. He got me in the end, but it's all right. I'm still happy with 3rd.
Yeah, I've got to say, 2nd podium of the season. How are you feeling? How are you getting on with the car?
Yeah, every session, every race, I'm getting more familiar with the car. Another podium, so we're getting closer to the Rookie of the Year title, is what we want. So, you know, we're slowly getting there.
Coming up, it's the feature race, race 3 from Christchurch, after this.
What a lot of people don't know is that the 86 is a joint venture between Toyota and Subaru. Now, I don't know a lot about the technical side, I just get it and drive. So here to tell us a bit about that joint venture and how that came about is Andrew Davis from Toyota New Zealand. So Drew, how did the joint venture come about between Toyota and Subaru?
Yeah, it's an interesting story, Sam. So after a little bit of time out of sports cars, Toyota jumped back in, and the first sports car we wanted to develop was a small sports car. And just in terms of what we had at the time and what we had available, one of the good options that we had there was to partner with Subaru, as you said. So Tada-san, who's the chief engineer for Toyota, looked in the Toyota parts bin, talked to the Subaru guys, and started to look at how he could make a really affordable sports car that was really fun to drive. And effectively what we came up with was a joint venture that used the best of Subaru, which is the traditional Subaru boxer engine, and obviously a lot of Toyota technology bolted onto that. So he ended up with a car with really good technology and a really low centre of gravity, which is a lot of fun. So I think it's a really great outcome, and we can see that from what we're seeing in the series.
Yeah, so one of the key features is the 2-litre boxer engine. What's come in from Toyota onto that engine?
Yeah, so in terms of the core hardware, the block itself, that's Subaru technology. And then the injection units, the direct injection units, and the electronics as such, which is a big part of engines nowadays, has come out of the Toyota kit or parts bin. So it's kind of taking the best of both developments together, and that's what we've got now.
So the rules of the Toyota 86 Championship dictate that there's no modifications to the engine, so it's a standard engine. So the customer can go into the showroom tomorrow and they'll be buying that same engine, won't they?
That's exactly right. I mean, there's only a couple of small modifications just because these cars are under a bit more stress, but it's basically what you get on the showroom floor. So I think when Tada-san started developing the car and thought about fun, he's thought about it from a race perspective and the road perspective. So we've got the best of both worlds with the 86.
Last season, Jacob Smith battled Ryan Yardley for the rookie title, with the title going to Yardley at the final round. This year, he steps up with the Tony Richards Toyota team to go for the championship.
Yeah, so I've obviously got a big team behind me and they know their stuff, so every little bit, every weekend, with setup, with data, with positioning of the car on the track, my driving style, obviously that has a big impact on my results and how I'm going. So it's a really big thing to have that big support behind me, the experience to teach me new things and get me further up the grid. My rookie season last year was a big step up for me from Formula First. So learning all the basics like running on a slick tyre and being in a saloon car, with a whole lot more around me was a big jump. So yeah, this year I'm really focusing on the real racecraft and focusing on my results and being as high up as I can in the championship. So difficult start to the season, sort of missing the first round with that incident, but just working really hard to try and push back into the top 6, even top 3. Anything can happen, so we're pushing hard to try and get to where we want to be. From here, I'd like to go into GTs, so something like the GT3 spec or the World Endurance Championship. I can really see that progressing for the future, so I think there's a big sort of window there for me to get into and definitely progress my racing career.
It's time for race 3, where the grid is set from part 2 in qualifying. Let's go to Jonathan Green for all the action.
The grid then for race 3 is Reid Harker in pole position, and alongside him Connor Adam. Then it's Michael Scott and Jacob Smith, 3rd and 4th. And a little further down, Brodie McConkey on the podium last time out with Matt Lockwood alongside winner of race 2. Andy Knight and Jack Milligan are just behind them. And then further back, it's John Penny and Mike Lightfoot, Ryan Yardley and Jaden Ransley. And finally, Miles Cockram and Tom Stokes at the back for the feature race. Here we go then, the start of race 3. This should be interesting. Everybody jostling for position. What can McConkey do? He, of course, has already told us he's trying to win that Rookie Cup. And he's in a good position, right in the mix, in about 4th position at the moment. Good clean start here for race 3, the feature race. Perfect conditions, still slightly breezy. And the wind changing direction throughout the weekend. No problems, and Matt Lockwood's got away just getting ahead of Jacob Smith in the number 27, or does he? They're side by side as they head out of the corner. On board now with Jack Milligan down towards the hairpin. 3 abreast in front of him. Look at that. McConkey's on the inside. Smith on the outside, and somehow Smith squeezes through and gets past McConkey. Meanwhile, Lockwood's still there. Great racing. Milligan right in the thick of it as they go towards Carousel. So Smith doing a really good job out of the hairpin to get ahead there. And slightly balked there was Lockwood. And he stays behind Milligan. Lightfoot just behind him in the green and black, number 96. Field starting to spread just a little bit here, but it's still very tight indeed, especially when you get to here with McConkey and Milligan. Dust flying up through 9. Everybody cleanly through, though, and trying to stay with this lead group. This time in the weekend, everybody knows the track, everybody knows the setup, and it just gets better and better in terms of racecraft. Out of the last turn and tucking yourself up, trying to make that slipstream move. That's what Lockwood's looking for here on Milligan. Is he close enough? He looks to the inside. And just in front, Jacob Smith trying to defend from McConkey as they head down towards turn 1. They're side by side. McConkey looks to the inside. He might have got him. We go on board with Matt Lockwood. He still has not got past Jack Milligan in the number 17 Corvette's car. Riding with them towards the hairpin. This is an obvious overtaking place, but Lockwood not close enough this time, and they come out of there. There's your leader, Reid Hart. And there's Ryan Yardley losing a place to John Penny, but damage to the back of John Penny's car as they exited the hairpin. It doesn't look as though it's affecting him too much, but maybe they touch then. But either way, Yardley's lost out of place to John Penny. Now can he get it back as soon as he's lost it? They head through the carousel. And I don't think he's going to do it just yet. He's going to have to bide his time, maybe wait till the last corner. And they are glued together, aren't they? This is great. Lockwood still right behind Jack Milligan. Reid Harker building on that lead, the winner of race 1, and looking to try and do the same in race 3. On board with Lockwood at the last turn, thinks about it, and then slots into position, and will try to get the run on him down the straight. Here we go. Lockwood and Milligan, nothing between them. Lockwood goes to the outside. Milligan stays in the middle of the track to defend that position. McConkey just ahead of them, and Smith ahead of him. Down towards turn 1 again. There is a possible overtake on the inside here, but good defensive work by the number 17, Jack Milligan. Southern Alps in the background here in Christchurch. It's been a fantastic weekend of racing in all the categories, and the 86 have put on a good show in all 3 races. As we go back with the man of the moment, third in the championship at the start of the weekend, Matt Lockwood. Still can't find his way past, and oh, a little bit of a tap there. McConkey gets hit from behind, and that's only going to lose Milligan precious time and give Lockwood a chance. And you can see now Lockwood making his way. There he is in the middle of the picture there in the yellow and white. Side by side, McConkey and Milligan. And onto the curbs goes Lockwood, and he's through on McConkey, is he? Not quite. McConkey sat in there. Lightfoot's coming in as well. This is his view, on board with him. Lockwood goes wide and high, but stays in there. Fantastic racing from the final race. Through 9 they go. Dust flying up everywhere. And Reid extending that lead at the front. Connor Adams stays in his position. Meanwhile, there's the 53 of Ransley. Jaden Ransley, the youngster. The Lighting Plus man in the number 53. He's now behind John Penny. And you can see the damage to Penny as they come on the straight, but I don't think it's affecting him. Certainly his lap times seem pretty consistent. Ransley may have a chance to overtake in the red top and blue car. He looks to the outside. He's not going to get past Penny there, because Penny, the former V8 man, knows exactly how to defend into turn 1 at Ruapuna. And there's the damage a little bit clearer. Penny Homes sponsored John Penny. It's been an interesting season, really enjoying the 86ers, the precision of them. I think the V8 boys actually quite like the fact that any mistake with identical cars like this, any mistake at all, and any rubbing really does affect your pace over a lap. A little tap here, as we saw in the last lap, can really affect your position in the race. And Milligan definitely knows he's been in a fight for the Corvette's team. And Matt Lockwood still not able to get past. Will he do it this time? A little tap. That's the sort of thing I'm talking about. That's all it takes, either to spin you around or to maybe lose a little bit of the momentum. Like I said, all identical cars. And Mike Lightfoot got a little nudge there, coming out of the carousel from Yardley by the looks of things. Here they come. Oh, very wide. Lightfoot Well, that nudge may have put him off because through goes Ryan Yardley. And Mike Lightfoot is lucky that he wasn't too heavy-footed there because he just kept it in and managed to stay on track. He was off in the dirt for a moment there. Tom Stokes now joins this battle. There he is in the number 6, the all-black. And this group of 5 cars coming down the main straight. Looks like NASCAR as they head across the line. Stokes on the inside, Lightfoot on the outside. Happy just to be there, I'm sure. Penny just ahead of them all. Ransley on the outside, won't get through there. Go on board with Miles Cockram. He's at the back of this group. And spin for Stokes. Gets turned around but manages to keep it in. Loses out though to Cockram, and that's what I mean by the momentum. Cockram on his own, just on his normal lap, and then a little bit of a nudge is all it took for him to get alongside, if not past. Penny still with Ransley. Lightfoot behind them. Here comes Lockwood. McConkey. And the number 17 of Jack Milligan. Turned out to be an eventful weekend for Jack, as it has for the Albany Toyota of Brodie McConkey on the podium, his first time out. And the Castrol number 23 doing a really good job of equipping himself, still learning very much how to drive this car. He's one of the newcomers to this series, holding his own very well indeed. Now Reid Harker marching on surely to victory here. Time running out for those wanting to catch. Lockwood creeping his way forward in the number 7. It's turned out to be an eventful weekend for him. Didn't think he'd be racing after that big crash on Friday. Ripped off the front of the car after he hit a marshal's post that wasn't occupied. And then tried to get it fixed locally here, but then was gifted a chance to run the number 7 Lighting Plus car with Andy Knight swapping over to the guest car. So really fortuitous for Matt Lockwood. Now he's under pressure from both McConkey and Ryan Yardley. Yardley eyeing up a chance as they head through Pothole. McConkey very wide at Pothole. Lost a little bit of ground there. Yardley will look to the inside. Lockwood's there though. He does come alongside the Albany Toyota. And does he push his way through? I think he does. And nicely done by Ryan Yardley. He's made up one spot here in the closing stages. But back comes McConkey. Good racing from the former Carter. Yardley, just 18 years himself. And the 2 youngsters going at it. Last year's rookie winner against the man who wants it badly this year. And so this is the perfect target. And they are still side by side. Brodie McConkey putting up a good fight here in the closing stages of race 3. Yardley holding on, just brakes, dabs the brakes for a moment and goes very wide at 10, but down towards the last corner. Here comes your leader, Reid Harker. That's the gap he's got, and it's impressive. Now, out of the last corner, here's that battle. Nothing between them. Jacob Smith trying desperately to hold off Jack Milligan. Milligan looks to get the slipstream, goes to the inside. That's the right place to be, and he comes alongside Smith, and that was nicely done by Jack Milligan. He's learnt this weekend how to do the overtaking at turn 1, and that was textbook Christchurch, really brilliantly done. This is the final lap now. Matt Lockwood still under pressure. Ryan Yardley looking for points and that championship lead, remember. With Reid Harker leading this race, every point counts for Ryan Yardley, who had a 31-point lead going into this weekend, but Reid Harker has absolutely closed that gap in the weekend and will win this race quite easily. And meanwhile, Yardley's trying to get every point he can. And at the moment, I don't think he's going to get past Lockwood. Back with Smith. Still fighting with Milligan, who just overtook him. And you sense that he might just make one more lunge on the youngster ahead of him. It's going to be tight, that's for sure. Smith up against the number 17, Jack Milligan. Lockwood behind them. It's been a good showing from Carevets. They've got some good coverage, and their drivers have driven well. But Reid Harker in the number 4 is going to take victory. There is the number 4 coming out of the last turn and onto the main straight. He'll see the checkered flag now raised for the second time of the weekend. Reid Harker then takes victory in the feature race. There's the checkered flag, and Harker creeps ever closer to Ryan Yardley in the championship. Jacob Smith does not get past Milligan as they cross the line together. So good job done by Jack Milligan in the closing stages, but it's all Reid Harker, and confirmation of the results then. Harker with the win ahead of Michael Scott in second place, Connor Adam third, Jack Milligan in fourth place ahead of Jacob Smith, Matt Lockwood sixth ahead of Ryan Yardley.
Yeah, it was a fantastic race. Starting off pole, got a good start, and then just head down from there, tried to build a bit of a gap to Michael in second, and pulled away a little bit and built that gap and just maintained from there. So it was an awesome race. Really happy with the 2 wins this weekend, and good points.
Kind of wasn't worrying so much about Reid. I think I didn't really have a chance of catching him. It was more keeping Connor behind me, watching my mirrors. That was the tough part of it.
The race before we got a bit of a bad one, so I figured I'd better pick my act up. So I'm really happy with that start. We're running with Reid until the first corner, so yeah, I'm really happy with that.
With 3 rounds gone, Ryan Yardley's lead is down to 8 points. Reid Harker doing a brilliant job to get up to 5:41. Matt Lockwood is third and Michael Scott fourth with 4:64.
The championship now gets on the road south to Teretonga and Invercargill next week. Until then, thanks for joining us on the Toyota 86 Championship.